So, we all entrepreneurs, we dream and we think like Rambo climbing stairs or Mark Zuckerberg coding in a dorm. If you're not born into privilege, building a startup is not so glamorous. Mark Zuckerberg was studying Harvard University when he decided to build Facebook. And because of that, the connections, the prestige of such university, even he decided to not build his startup and just be an employee. Later on, he would probably become a managing director and still earn a lot of money just because of his university. Building a startup, it isn't that glamorous. It's more about the failures, amount of people who won't believe in you. You sometimes won't even believe in yourself. The most important, will you keep going? And I think that's the point. Whenever you're thinking about building your own startup, I wish someone told me this earlier. You should be consistent and you should learn. Each step that you consider as a failure, you consider that as an investment, as an opportunity to not do it the same mistake again. And once I start shifting to that thinking, even if I spend, let's say, $1,000 in a course and I didn't learn much or learn nothing from that course, that for me is still an investment. It's never failure, because if you consider things as a failure, you're not having the startup, the proper mindset. And then there's a video I did about that. Your friends, family ask, how's the business? And then you freeze. You're like, well, should I tell the truth? I'm doing $0. I feel like a failure most of the days. And I see social media. 15-year-old build a multi-million-dollar business. So many LinkedIn influencers into the social media that everyone's successful. So those comparisons are just setbacks for you and your mindset, which was for me. Whenever a friend or family would ask me, I would feel like a failure. But the reality is, most of the people are faking their numbers and putting figures that they don't even make. Or some figures are just projections, which means it's not truth. And if you're someone like me who likes to be honest and real and raw, you're not gonna fake those numbers. So you're not gonna feel ever you're entitled to speak or you're entitled to saying that way. The most important rule I learned during this time that I've been trying to build my own startup is consistency. And this I don't mean in terms of being consistent, but being consistent with where you wanna go, with your goal. Why that's such an important and underrated thing? Because I have friends who say, well, let's build an app together, or let's do this, or let's do that. But the thing is, if you're not focused, if you're not thinking about where you want to go, and you say yes to all these things, they will just become setbacks for you. And then you're going to be away from your goal. I am documenting my startup's pain, so you don't quit. Building a startup almost broke me. It's not for everyone. You deal with frustrations, self-doubt, and you still have to make money in the end of the day. This is just a very small summary of all the feelings you might feel. Your day-to-day will be like a roller coaster. You go up, you strongly believe you can become the next Mark Zuckerberg, and then in the end of the day, you're down and you feel like a failure. You feel like, well, shit, I might have to go look for a job. Everybody make mistakes, but no one likes to talk about them. Everyone is an overnight success story. It's unquestionable how social media affect our perception of reality. And this by no means is good or bad. It's always up to our own interpretation. When people talk about focus, it's very easy to think it's just paying attention, not using your phone and doing the thing. It's not exactly just that. That's a part. That's consistency. But focus is about saying no to things that can happen externally to you as well. I'll give a very good example. I'm trying to build my own startups, but also I'm doing my own IT consultancy on the side. And I have some friends who ask me, let's build a business, let's do an app together. And I say no. Why? Because I know my focus is build my own startup and improve my IT consultancy. If I say yes, I'll put one more extra thing into my cognitive load, which my brain might be able to handle, but might not be able to handle, because now I will have 3 things in my day to think about. So the most important is saying no to the things that you cannot do right now. Nobody says about how hard it is to get customers. Why? There's so many apps, so many things in the market that you're just a fish in the pond. And because of that, is exactly what they say. You need to niche down. And when you niche down, things get even harder, because you need to know your specific persona and customer to be able to convince them to use your product. I would say all these failures, they make me happy, because I can see how much I have progressed and improved into this startup journey. So don't give up. It's Pedro here. Bye bye.